MrBeast struck a deal with Amazon Prime, and he's now set to release the biggest reality game show the world has ever seen. And with a grand prize of $5 million, you may ask some questions like, how will this game show work? How many contestants are there? When will this show drop its first episode? And does this mean Jimmy is taking a step away from YouTube?
Now, Jimmy has always had the goal to make the best videos possible, and through that journey, he has now moved his approach to more storytelling type videos. With videos like Ages 1 to 100 Fight to See Who Wins $250,000, which focused on building characters that people could connect with.
And this is no easy task, because you have to remember, videos like the Ages 1 through 100 one aren't scripted, which means creating a narrative around these contestants would be an insanely difficult task. But Jimmy, being MrBeast, was easily able to conquer that challenge.
Unscripted shows like ours, that's where character development is hard. And people don't understand. Years ago, I was just god awful at it. And if you ever told me I was bad at storytelling, you were correct. And I'm glad everyone beat me on the head and be like, tell better stories. Now, the past year, we've been really trying. Somebody who's like Ages 1 through 100, we hit it. I mean, if you look at the TikTok clips on it, people loved it. People loved 42, 58. It was awesome.
And not only was Jimmy able to make people care about multiple contestants, but he was also able to make people care about a single character.
And that character being Mac Hopkins, who was essentially pushed into multiple MrBeast challenges just because MrBeast viewers had begged to see him come back. And it would make sense why they would want to see him in newer videos, because a combination of Jimmy's storytelling and Mac's personality made it feel like you were watching a movie. It's kind of like you'd have Mac as the protagonist, and the cookies, well, the cookies would be the biggest antagonists of all time.
Just, there's 60 seconds left, right?
And you might be wondering why we brought up Jimmy's storytelling in his current YouTube videos, but it actually connects to what Jimmy's end goal is with the show. Because, as stated before, just like Jimmy's newer YouTube videos, this show is completely unscripted. So it means that the contestants' reactions, goals, and personalities are entirely random. And everything that happens will be recorded in real time.
And after filming, Jimmy and his team would have to put together a story from completely random events, which just like his newer videos would be an insanely difficult task. And remember at the start of the video when we asked the question about the contestant count? Well, there will be over 1,000 contestants in this new show, and that means that there will be tons of potential characters that Jimmy's team will have to review and see if they deserve a chance in the spotlight.
But just like the Squid Game video or the Ages 1 through 100 video, they focus on building the characters that either win the game or get very close to winning it, which is a very good strategy to make the audience actually care about the contestants. And since we know this, when the first episode of the show drops, we will quickly be able to find out who these main characters are, as a lot of screen time will be dedicated to showing them and their personalities at the start. The only thing that could throw this off in episode 1 is if there's too many potential characters at the start due to being 1,000 contestants.
But come on, this is MrBeast we're talking about. He has over 800 videos under his belt and has been making unscripted videos for years, so I don't think we'll need to worry about him having too many contestants. Because I assume that Jimmy will find a way to combat that. And since Jimmy takes even just making YouTube videos to an extreme, I imagine that he'd probably prepare for a challenge like this. He's even claimed that he has a mini army of employees working on this new project.
Your YouTube, will you still you'll upload YouTube videos at that time as well? And
of course,
how does the show, does it intermix with the YouTube channel, or how does that go?
Yeah, well, we're gonna upload more main channel videos this year than last year while doing that monster 10 episode or plus streaming shows. So no, I mean, I don't want it to mess with the YouTube channel in any way. That has always been my #1 priority and always will be, because at the end of the day, we get 200 million views a video, and that's like why I'm able to do all this other stuff. So that's why we're hiring so many people to work specifically on the streaming show. And so I have a literal mini army on it.
With all this being said, Jimmy's dedication and massive portfolio of YouTube content is probably the reason why Prime Video gave Jimmy the creative control that he needed to pull off the game show.
But why not Netflix or any other streaming service? Because you would think that all of these streaming services would be quick to take on this new deal with Jimmy, considering that the MrBeast channel is now sitting at over 300 million subscribers, and that on average he gets around 200 million views per video.
But you see, most streaming services like it when they are the ones that control the shows, but Jimmy really wanted his game show to not be scripted, just like his YouTube videos. So when streaming services found out that they couldn't really control what was going to happen, they backed out. Many streaming platforms denied Jimmy's idea, but eventually Prime Video let him host the show on their platform, and they gave Jimmy all the creative control he needed to make the best show possible. Which honestly is the best decision they could have made, because we all know Jimmy is not gonna settle with something average. If you give the job to MrBeast, you better believe he's gonna cook with it.
But you might be wondering, how is this game show even going to work? First off, on the Colin Samir show, Jimmy announced that the game show will be titled Beast Games. Jimmy didn't reveal too much about the inner workings of the show, but he did tweet about the total contestant count being 1,000 people, and the grand prize being $5 million, which is a world record for the biggest game show prize in history. He even said that his most popular video, which is his Squid Game in real life video, would pale in comparison to a bad episode on the show.
I mean, the big thing is the sets are just gonna be things you've never seen before. I mean, it's actually crazy, the kind of stuff we're building. Each one of these episodes will be bigger than the biggest YouTube video I've ever made. All right, so these are like we're talking monsters upon monsters of projects. Like, picture our Squid Game, but like that's just a normal episode in this series. Like, that's a bad episode. Right. You know what I mean? Like, that's how far we're going with this.
What I just want to say is that statement is absolutely insane to think about. Considering the Squid Game video currently has over 600 million views and is on track to hit 1 billion within the next couple of years. And it's not even the total view count that makes this a crazy statement, because the production cost of the Squid Game video was $5 million. And not to mention that it was an insanely good video. I'd have to say that it is probably one of the best on YouTube. So how in the world is Jimmy going to top this? And not only that, but top it in every single episode of the show.
He didn't really say any more on the podcast because he didn't want to spoil the plot, but we can take what Jimmy has done on his channel as a guide to see what the plot in this new game show will be. Our guess is this. The first episode will be centered around showing the absolute insanity of the show. So we might not get a good look at the characters, but it will be very clear that the odds of winning are 1 in 1,000.
Most likely, it will weed out up to 500 contestants in the first episode, and in the following episode, we might start to see some character development from different characters. But it's in episode 3 where we will probably be able to tell who might win the grand prize of $5 million, as it will be made clear by the amount of screen time they get. The following episodes will then follow the same format as episode 3, but they will be more focused on developing the main character as everyone else gets eliminated.
One way this prediction could be wrong though is if the game show happens to be released in a semi-live format, where the events of episode 1 are aired before they even start filming episode 2, but we'll see what happens when the show airs. And speaking about the show airing, there's actually no set date for when the show will drop, so we'll have to wait and see. But with Jimmy now making a show on Amazon, is he taking a step away from YouTube?
Well, Jimmy actually directly stated this question in the podcast, saying,
Everyone's always thought of you as a YouTuber and probably still does.
Yeah.
But 10 years from now, when you've got Feastables, I wonder, do people think, oh, MrBeast, he's the chocolate guy?
I'm always going to
guy.
be a YouTuber first. I love this platform. This platform is what made me who I am, and this is my #1 focus, and it always will be.
So, it looks like no matter what, Jimmy is going to be forever locked in on YouTube. And honestly, I'm glad he's not moving on, because YouTube just wouldn't be the same if it weren't for the MrBeast channel. So the main questions that are left is, will Jimmy prove that creators aren't bound to YouTube? And will this become the biggest game show ever created? Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below.